Hello, good people. How are you doing? I am feeling both incredibly grateful and a little raw. Hence the name of this video, Dealing with Criticism. Let me start with the great news, the grateful news. I have been very intentional this year about connecting with my family. So I am on the committee to plan my mother's side of our family reunion this year, and it has been, um, just so. My heart is just like expanded because of all of the people I have had the privilege to know, and we haven't even had the reunion yet. So that's what I'm grateful about. One of the many things. Now, the raw part that I want to talk about today, maybe you can relate. I want to talk about something that made me quit for a little while, to be honest, and it's criticism. And I'm not talking about the constructive kind of criticism, but the kind that catches you off guard, the kind that makes you want to go into hiding. So, a few weeks ago, I made the decision. I was being very prayerful about just where I wanted to take my business, this whole next level life and business next. And what I realized is that I learned from so many people through video and podcasts and books. And I have written two books already, but I wanted to just give back in the form of something that would outlast me. And I thought about, I'm going to return to YouTube. I had been on YouTube for several years, but I had taken a long, long break. And so I made a decision about mid-year that I was going to create 24 videos every week, and I wasn't going to stop. And then that would give me enough data to decide whether I would go on to create a podcast or what I would do next. So about six videos in, I started getting bombarded with a lot of criticism. I mean, in my inbox, my DMs, and these emails or messages were like highlighting pictures of my face with my YouTube videos and pointing to different things about how my lighting was off, how my thumbnail was off, how this is why your video is getting such poor reviews. I mean, the way my brain translated it is, this is why your video sucks. I'll just tell you, that's what I was thinking. And so I let it get in my head, and this is raw for me because I'm a coach. And as much as I always say to my clients that it is strength to reach out for help, it is strength to get to those points in your journey where you feel like quitting or you want to quit, whether that's weight loss, whether that's in your marriage, whether that's at a job. But then it was my turn, right? And instead of pressing through it like I coach women to do every day, and using, not just pressing through it, but using the tools that I have created and the tools that I subscribe to and the tools that I share with my clients about managing your feelings and allowing yourself to feel. And the worst thing that could happen is a bad feeling. What I want you to know is that instead of using my toolbox, I just completely shut down. I shut down my YouTube channel for the last 5 weeks. And so I want to share how I went from being shut down to and silent to returning and feeling so on fire and determined. So the first thing I want to share is that shame can't survive being in the open. The first step, if you have shut down over something, the first step is to know that there is power in sharing instead of stuffing. Secrecy strengthens shame. And, the more I kept this in my head and the more I just read the emails and I turned it over and over in my head, I mean, I didn't even tell my husband. You don't have to perform, you know, we all get to be human. We all get to be human, which means, you know what? Even though I was telling myself, Cledra, you shouldn't be like this because you're a coach. Maybe you're shitting on yourself because you're like, I'm a physician, I'm an attorney, and I shouldn't be like this. And I should know better and I should have already mastered this. It simply isn't true. We all at times will fall prey to that part of our brain that for me, it's like giving me the beat down. So the moment I started talking about it, first in my journal, then to God, then to my coach, it lost its power and I became more powerful because of my willingness to face it instead of hide from it or just turn my back on it, right? So that's the first thing. Share it. The second thing is criticism means you're doing something worth noticing. I can tell you, criticism is a side effect of courage. I don't know anyone, all of my mentors have shared in podcasts, they shared with me personally that they too have had their moments where criticism made them shrink. You're stepping outside of the tribe, and I want you to understand that this is a very primal response that our brain has. It sees stepping away from the tribe as a threat. And so in walks the freeze response. So reframing criticism to mean that it is the evidence of visibility. Because listen, if no one's criticizing you, you're probably still hiding. But I'd rather be misunderstood in motion than perfectly hidden in stagnation. Let me just say that again. If no one's criticizing you, you're probably still hiding. And I'd rather be misunderstood in motion than perfectly hidden in stagnation. So, the third lesson, use it, don't absorb it. And what I mean by this is don't let one loud voice silence your assignment. And whether that voice is, for me, it was like all of my DMs. These people would not only send me an email, they would then send me a direct message on all of the platforms that I'm on online. And temporarily, I let those voices silence my assignment. Maybe you're like me. I don't see my business just as a business. I see it as an assignment from God. I see it as part of my mission, part of my purpose. And the other thing is that feelings are not facts. So while I felt like, oh, I'm not good enough to, or my videos aren't good enough to continue, or I need to study more, I need to research more, it simply wasn't true. And not all feedback is fuel. Some of it's just smoke. But if you don't filter it, you'll burn out trying to prove your worth. And that's what I got completely in my head, just churning, churning, churning. All right. So the fourth and final lesson I want to share with you about dealing with criticism is that your inner critic is simply trying to help you. And the method of helping you is to stop you. External criticism can only stay around when we don't create an environment of safety. So how do you create safety when your nervous system is feeling like you are under threat? And this is where you look at the reality of the situation and not just your feelings about the situation. The reality of the situation is these people want me to hire them. At the end of the day, they were pointing to my views, pointing to my sound, pointing to my lighting, pointing to all of that. And then at the end, there was and of course, I can fix it all for you. So this is basically marketing, icky marketing, if you ask me, but marketing and or shame-based marketing. Like I never subscribe to shame-based marketing. But when you can understand that the inner critic isn't trying to stop you as in sabotage, it's trying to stop you because that's the only way it knows to protect you. So then it's our job to create that safety, to really look at factually what's happening. Factually, what I'm doing is I'm sitting in a chair and I'm recording a video. Factually, people are sharing words with me. Factually, there are arrows pointing to my head, pointing to my face with other words about it. And those are other people's opinions. I realized I had disqualified myself. Our inner critic wants to disqualify us in our mind because then we will stop and then the threat is removed. So those emails just secretly echoed, this is the other part. They secretly echoed what I was challenged with myself. Like, is the video good enough? I mean, there's so many incredible people that I follow, and I started comparing myself to their work. My video one to their video 700. So just know that your inner critic is just looking for safety. And safety means sameness to our brain. All right. So listen, I hope this video helps you get ignited again like it has for me with my videos. Whatever that is for you. Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's Facebook Lives. Maybe it's trying with your relationship again. Maybe it's believing for love again. Maybe it's whatever fill in the blanket is for you that you have stopped because of criticism. I want you to share this with another woman who may be um, on mute because of something that someone has said or an email that she received. Criticism isn't a cue to stop, it's a sign you're shifting something. It's a sign that you are shifting into the next version of you. You're shifting into discomfort. And with that comes people's opinions. All right. So listen, if you're done letting fear of judgment dictate your decisions, I want you to book a private consultation with me and we can take this work to the next level. Your next level is going to cost you your need to be approved by everyone, but it will gift you with peace, clarity, and bold movement. Let them talk and you keep showing up. All right. I'll talk to you next week, good people. And remember, shame can't survive when you bring it to light.